to the city streets, we began to feel the fire.
Alright, welcome back to Funny Computer Hub. I still remain the one and only Epiphanian from Funny Computer Hub. So in this video, I'm going to continue from where we stopped. We are going to treat the requirements to become a graphic designer. What are the requirements? As somebody that wants to learn graphics, you should be able to ask yourself, what do I need? What qualifies me to be a graphic designer? Is it just only learning? Yeah, learning is part of it, but not just the only stuff. Yes. So becoming a graphic designer doesn't require a degree. Yes, you don't need to go to school, go to university before you'll be able to qualify to learn graphics. But it only needs your creativity, it needs technical skills. All you need is just creativity, technical skills, and the right tools. Be able to have the creativity, be able to have the technical skills, and also be able to have the right tools. My dear, you are good to go. So here are key requirements. One is creativity and artistic skills. The second is knowledge of design software. When you have the right tool and you have the knowledge of navigating the tool, we are good to go. Not just knowing up to 5 graphic design tools. The question is, can you design with any of those tools? The next one is having basic computer skills. I always encourage people, most of my prospects and even my students, for them to learn basic computer skills if they have not learned it. They don't need to depend on the ones that I've gotten from school. So you need basic computer skill in order to be more effective, in order to be more good in graphic design. The next is understanding of design principles. I'm going to explain that more about design principles. Graphic design has rules and regulations that guide it. When you're able to understand the principles of design, you are good to go. The next is the willingness to learn. You need to have the passion to learn, and not just learning. You need to also have the passion to practice. There's something I always tell my students. As currently we are running free digital skills training, I always tell them this is a 3 week training and it's free of charge. Don't just learn. Don't just say, wow, I watched this video, wow, this is how my coach did it, wow. They will just be saying wow, 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 it is how it's been, wow. But they will not practice it. They will not. So I say that what makes you perfect is not learning but practice. When you are just learning with no practice, you cannot be perfect. But when you are practicing the ones you have learned, you will be perfect. The next is communication and business skills. This is one of the requirements you need to have in order to be a good graphic designer. You need to have the communication skills. You need to also have the business skills, knowing how the business of graphic design works and navigate through it. So there is a common softwares for graphic design. One of the common softwares are Adobe software. Adobe software, you're going to see Adobe Illustrator, Adobe Photoshop, InDesign, Adobe Express, and more others. Then another tool is Cover Photoshop, Cover software. I believe you have heard about Cover Draw and other things. So we have Adobe Photoshop, we have CorelDRAW. These are system, these are laptop, like I say laptop or desktop softwares. So when it has to do with laptop, we call it software. Then when it has to do with smartphones, we call it application. So the next one is free and friendly software. We have free and friendly software like um Canva. We have Peace RL. We have GIMB and others. There are many of them. Okay, so the next thing we have is visual elements that combines graphics, that combines to create graphics. Being I've told you that graphic design is not just a merely word, but rather graphic design is just the art of combining text, images and other visual elements. We combine them together in order to communicate a message. So now you should be asking yourself, what are those visual elements which we can combine together in order to communicate a message? So those visual elements are line, colors, shape, texture, space, form, typography. Do you get it now? So these are the visual elements which we can combine together in order to be able to create our graphics. Anytime you see graphics, or maybe anytime you see a flyer, you always see a color, right? True or true? True. If you don't say true, me, I will tell you it's true. You always see a color in any flyer. Whether it's a business card, you see a color on it. You see a shape. The shape might be a circle shape or rectangle, any shape of any kind. You're going to see texture. You're going to see space. You're going to see form. You're going to see typography. Typography is just a text, okay? And also you're going to see line. So these are visual elements which we can combine together to perform a design that can communicate and pass information to our users. So being I've told you now that it's obvious that in all any flyer you see, you're able to see colors, you'll be able to see typography. So if it's only color and text that you're able to see on that flyer, it's obvious that you now be able to see that we have been able to combine color and typography in one particular design. So that is why we say that there are visual elements that combines to create graphic design. So the first one is line. Line. Line is a powerful visual is a powerful element which we can use to do amazing thing. We can use line. Say a line connects 2 points and can be straight. A line can be straight, curve, thick, thin, zigzag or dashed. Okay, can you see? We have thin, we have bold, we have doubled. Can you see a little lot? This is dotted and a little lot. So we can actually use line to separate sections. Can you see this sample that is here? Can you see to separate section, like this page that you are seeing is not about. There is a line under it to give. We are able to use it to put a demarcation between this and this. So the next one is ideas. After ideas, can you see a line below it too? The next one is about making. There's a line below it. Then ideas, there's also a line below it. So can you see now, We have been able to use line to select sections which help to guide the art, which help to guide the eye, trying to make us that this thing is separate, this one is separate, this one is separate, this one is separate. And also it also helps to create movement or form shape in design. So we can decide to use a line to form a shape. Like this line is like this now. I'll draw the next one below it. I can come here, draw another line so that it will close off this part. Then the next one will close off this part. Obviously, you have been able to get a rectangle. So the next one is color. Color is one of the amazing visual elements we have. We say color plays a it plays a biggest role in design. It creates a specific look and feel on graphic design. When your graphic design is not colorful, you may not be able to pass the real message. Color affects mood and emotions in design. So graphic designers use color palettes to create harmony in designs. We have some examples of colors. We have the red, we have the blue, we have the green. The red colors, there is symbols which you can search it on Google and get the whole answer. The red color represents passion, energy and urgency. The blue color represents trust, calmness and professionalism. The green color represents growth, nature and health. So if for example now you are asked to design let's say a business card for a medical doctor, you should be able to know the brand color. Remember I told you I'm going to say more about the brand color. Okay, so you should be able to know the brand color of that company, being is for medical business card, is medical business card. You need to use blue color. So that is it. Color is so amazing and powerful. The next one is shape. Shape. So shape is also one of the elements of graphic design. Shapes are geometric, irrespective of how it is, whether it's circle or square or whatever. Okay, so most of the time we use shape in logos. We use it for logo design. You can decide to add this circle, then write let's say letter G. It now becomes a logo. So the next is texture. Texture is one of the amazing tools which we actually mainly use for our backgrounds and more things. How a surface feel or looks. Example, if the surface is rough, smooth, grainy, metallic, it means the texture of that thing is like that. So texture is actually used to add depth and professionalism to backgrounds and product designs. So we actually use it to add depth and realism to background and product design. The next one we have in our list is space. Space. Whenever you are designing, it's always good to consider space. Space is just that empty space around or between design elements. We actually use space to make design clean, readable and balanced. Like now this space, now there's a lot of space here, there's one here, and also this is just a shape, there's a negative space inside. So the next one we have is form. Form is just a 3D version of a shape. While a shape is flat, a form has depth, height and width. Okay, so this is an example of a form. This is also an example of a form. The next thing we have is typography. Typography, like I always say, it has to do with text. Even tonight I taught my students, free training students, on graphics. So even those that are on site, physical daily students on my own academy, one of the illustrations I do give to them when it comes to typography is for them to understand that typography has to do with handwriting. Your handwriting and your neighbor's handwriting are not the same and can never be the same. So whenever you are designing, you need to also consider typography. You need to work on it, know the type of typography that you want to use. You don't just need to select anyhow text, anyhow font and all that. So typography, it has to do with font, text, anyhow fonts. So the style of text used in a design is that typography. Font can be serif, we have serif typography, we have Time New Roman, we have Arial. So we have many typographies which you will get to know them once we start designing. So in the next tutorial, I'm going to show you the design principles of graphic design. Any organization where you are, whether you are in my own organization, I have rules and regulations that governs it. So there is are also rules and regulations that governs graphic design. So as so simple to understand, and you will love seeing them. So if you are yet to subscribe to our YouTube channel, kindly smash the subscription button below this video and hit the notification bell beside it, so that anytime we drop amazing training, you will get notified.